Welcome all to a lovely evening of Matushri Manibai Shivji Devji KVO Kanya Keroni Fund. We are on a session of tips from champions. I welcome all the three champions, Milind, Nandish, as well as, sorry, Anand. Anand. I welcome all the three of you all. Milind from USA, Anand from, currently where are you, Anand?
I'm in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Denmark. And Nandish, currently I think you're in Delhi. I welcome all the three of y'all. All the three who have attained an international education and international exposure. And that is one of the reasons why you're here. Because after you've grown in a foreign land, what have been the avenues of progress and success there? What is the message that you would like to give the younger students who are looking forward to a good future, and also the parents? We would also like to, this is also an occasion to showcase the jewels of the KVO community, and three of y'all are. Many of y'all are, but definitely the three of y'all are also. So I welcome the three of y'all on behalf of KVO Sanakwasi Mahajan and Matushri Manibai Shivji Devji KVO Kanya Keroni Fund. I would like to say one thing, that academics is extremely important in the life of any student. But along with academics, professional growth happens through many different ways. And these learnings are built through co-curricular, through the internships, through social work, through many networking projects, and so on and so forth. There are also certain not very popular fields of education, which many of you all have also taken up. So probably you'll be touching upon the different aspects and the kind of lifestyle in the workplace that you are into. All the three of you all are at a different stage. Some who have, Anand has just completed his education, Nandish has completed education, worked there and come back. And Milind has finished an education and continues to work there. So definitely all the three of you all will come out with a different bucket of exposure and experience. And we are all looking forward to it. Just to say a few words about Matushri Manibai Shivji Devji KVO Kanya Keroni Fund. It's an organization which was instituted 53 years back, mainly for the pursuit of education for the girls in the area of higher education. I would say that higher education was not very popular in those times. And it is for many reasons. There were many factors which played a role. Finance was definitely a factor. Finance still remains a challenge for many students, which some of you all will also agree. Higher education gets more and more expensive. And therefore, Matushri Manibai Shivji Devji KVO Kanya Keroni Fund, like many other KVO organizations, also supports students for higher education with an interest-free loan. At the same time, also, Matushri Manibai Shivji Devji KVO Kanya Keroni Fund also supports students in the case of career guidance and conducts many training programs, some of which were conducted very recently in the pandemic. We conducted programs like digital marketing, e-commerce, entrepreneurship, and some are again more in the pipeline. Besides that, we have Apna Time Aayega, which is a platform for startups, entrepreneurs, business ideas, and so on. Saturdays, we do have showcasing of young talent like you all, where we have tips from toppers. We finished that series. Currently, we are into tips from champions, national and international both. We also have certain projects where we are identifying merit awardees. So the girl students go through a grind of curricular and co-curricular evaluation process, whereby the students, meritorious students, are given awards under the name of BCSMA award, which is instituted by the founder families. Similarly, we have, for those students who secure admission into meritorious universities and institutes. We have what is called as Srimati Kalabin, Mahendrabhai, Cheda Parivar, that is the Prince family. They have instituted what is for the meritorious or the premier institutes, those students securing admission there. And the third very good project is for where you will agree for foreign education. So the interest-free loans are provided for young girls for an exposure for international education, and that is supported by Premila Bain, Lakshmi Chand, Kumarji Nanji Kenya family. We have several other projects also. Uh, However, when time will come, we will discuss more that in detail. Today, not wasting much time, the platform is yours, and therefore I welcome the three of y'all. I also welcome all the viewers on YouTube. Welcome for the live session, and of course, you can always view it later on also. We have several videos on the YouTube channel of this trust. Do view them. We have more than 45 videos, educational videos, uh, very, very timely. You can definitely view them also. So without taking much time, I will start uh, introducing y'all in the order in which y'all are onto the, just a minute. So I will not be going into much details because I'm sure you'll cover it up in your introduction. Uh, I have the pleasure to present Anand Rajul Atul Visaria from village Ratadia Ganeshwala, who family lives in Grand Road right now, Copenhagen, Denmark, where he lives in. I have the pleasure to present Nandish Bharti Praful Kenya of village Baroi, family lives in Matunga, currently at New Delhi. And Milind Indumati Nenchan Furia, village Merau, lives in Bhandup, currently Boys, USA. So I will not be giving much introduction. I think you can introduce yourselves much better than I would do it, because you will be talking about your own journey. And we look forward to your journey very soon. So can we begin with Anand?
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to share my presentation. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, super. My name is Anand, and I'm gonna I've titled my presentation "Moving Forward," and I'll explain through the presentation why. Currently, I've just graduated with a master's in sustainable energy from Technical University of Denmark, and before I go into my journey, I would like to share some of the thoughts I had before making this presentation. The series is called Tips from Champions, and I was looking through previous videos, previous advertisements, and I was like, such qualified people, such experienced people, and how am I qualified as a champion, and how do I fit into this? So I did what most of us would do. I Googled the definition of a champion. So the definition of a champion is, there are two definitions: a person who surpassed all rivals, or a person who supports or defends another person or a cause. Now, I don't see rivalry or competition as much. I see it just with me doing better. And so in that sense, I don't see myself as a champion in this definition. But what I do know is that I do fit the bill for someone who's supporting and working with a cause. And in that sense, I am a champion, and I think I can share some insights through my journey. So as I said, my name is Anand Visaria, and the cause that I feel that I'm a big major part of now is the sustainable energy cause. As you all are aware, that decarbonizing the energy sector is a big challenge for the survival of the earth at a global level. And we've been seeing how climate change has been affecting us. And so I found my calling in this cause. And that is the first thing I would like to share with all the students over there and the parents supporting these students, that find a cause. Being an engineer is like saying that that is my destination, but why do you want to be an engineer? That is important to answer that question. It's okay to be selfish, say that I want to make money, I want to find a job or something like that. But from my experience, I can say for sure that it is always a little more fulfilling to chase a good cause. Having lived in Denmark and Copenhagen, which is like it's a very developed nation with one of the highest happiness rates and incomes, I know for a fact that the youngsters over here are so motivated about creating an impact and a cause. So I would say that when you're looking for, like, trying to make a decision, try to ask yourself this question: that can I solve a problem with this? Will this improve somebody's life, or does the world need something like this? Now, my story begins in Mumbai. I was born there and I lived my first 16 years in Mumbai, studied in Campion School, graduated, passed the 10th standard from there as top three. And Campion School means so much to me because that was the foundation of my life. I did elocution there, I did dramatics there, I played basketball, athletics, football, and everything that I could, because the motto of my school was, we want to build all round human beings. And so I pretty much excelled in all those spheres, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that school. Following Mumbai for my 11th, 12th, and plus 1 year, I was in Kota for 3 years, preparing like a lot of people from across India for the IIT JEE exams. I must admit, this was by far the most difficult part of my life, and it also was the most the biggest learning period of my life, because I'm a single child of a well-to-do family from Bombay, living alone in Kota, experiencing this competitiveness and everything for the first time with extreme weather conditions and everything. And that experience, I may not have got the IIT JEE target that I was in for, but I got a lot more than that. That has sort of guided me through my life since. So I ended up getting into Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University in Gandhinagar and did a BTech in electrical engineering over there. And along with studying electrical engineering, I was an enthusiastic theater actor. We've done a lot of stage plays, street plays at a national level. We've performed in Delhi, Bombay, and in parts of Gujarat. And I also played basketball for my university. And in the end of in my last year and a half of my bachelor's, I was mature enough to actually start asking this question as to what is my purpose? Why am I doing this? I would look at people just in the rat race and be like, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be guided by my cause. And I found my cause in sustainable energy through my projects in my final year, where I designed a solar PV plant. I worked on some coding for the grid. And I realized that I want to make a career in that. And that's what led me to Copenhagen. And in Copenhagen, along with my master's, I've continued my passion for theater. I worked with the United Nations for 6 months full time and as a pro bono consultant for almost a year. And I also have experienced exchange programs around sustainability and entrepreneurship that allowed me to also interact with a very international crowd. And now I find myself asking the question, what's next? And I keep coming back to the part that my cause is to create an impact and be an influencer in that sense. So now that I've shared my story, I've also realized in the last few years that anyone's story is built with three characters. The first character is who you were. What you did, where you were 5 years, 10 years ago. The second character is who you are right now, where you are right now. And the third character is who you want to be in the future, who you see yourself. And The story only makes sense and only aligns when all these three characters are in some sort of alignment and there's some narrative to it. Knowing who you were will always help you decide where you're coming from, and you need to do justice to that person, because I feel that, like, as kids we were so enthusiastic about, different things. We were not scared of things, and we had this open mind. As you go along, you get scared, experiences happen, and then you become this person. And so when you are right where you are right now, you can ask yourself, where have I come from and where do I want to be? Will this be a story that I can share? And so try to make a good story of your life. Don't see your life and your story in terms of time. See it in terms of experiences. When you're making a decision, ask yourself, will this be a good experience? Will this be a story I could tell my grandkids, for example? Is this a way for me to build a legacy? The story is also a legacy, right? Because you have built on whatever the human race, your family, or someone before you in your field has done, and you are going to leave it in such a way that someone after you can build on it. And so you got to keep that in mind. And the reason why I bring this up is because I read a recent study where it was said that in India today, the survey said that 93% of Indian students are aware only of 7 career options. I'm not saying that you fall in that category, but explore, look beyond it. We are in a time where you can actually be successful in whatever field you choose to be in. So don't look at what other people are doing. Ask yourself, is this you? Is this my story? And is this an experience I want to have? Now, I've had a very bumpy ride. I didn't clear the JEE. I've participated in competitive exams that I didn't pass. I got rejections from universities and job applications. Recently, because of the pandemic and before, projects got cancelled, opportunities got lost. I've suffered from cases of depression and anxiety. So it's not been a straight, simple story. And this is also what adds to my next lesson is mistakes make a man. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make that mistake, because as Samuel Beckett said, ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. In India, there's this stigma that feeling is a bad thing, and there is like, you have to finish it in 4 years. You can't have a backlog, and I suffered from that pressure a lot myself. But I came here and I saw that they accept mistakes. They want you to make those mistakes. Also important with that is be honest yourself and accept that you've made a mistake. If you see someone else making a mistake, be compassionate and understand why they did it and where they're coming from. And if you've made a mistake, if you failed, it's okay to say, I don't know. Saying I don't know is a very important thing. People don't say I don't know enough. But once you say I don't know, also say, but I will try to find out. Ask for help. Asking for help is such a simple thing. It is just like taking a dip into the deeper end of the pool. Just ask, and the worst that can happen is they'll say no, but more often than not, you will realize that it's so easy to get that help. The number of times I've gotten opportunities just because I asked, that, can I do this? Or can you help me with this? Is incredible. So make sure you ask for that help. And then find satisfaction in your effort and not just the result. Like, if you feel that you put all the effort that you could, then that's more than enough. And this is the last thing. So these were my beliefs, these were my lessons, and I question them all the time because I'm still learning, I'm still experiencing, and I'm looking forward to questions that you might have about this. And I think this is also a lesson because we are so, we because of our history and because of our culture, we tend to hold on to those belief systems and we don't evolve those systems with our experiences and with time. And it's important to question them and see if they make sense or not. And it's not wrong to realize that, my belief was wrong and I need to evolve. So I would say question your beliefs, question my beliefs, ask those questions. And lastly, why moving forward? Because this is my most favorite quote. This is what drives me, by Martin Luther King. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Because if you're stuck, you're moving backward. You have to keep moving forward. Just keep that in mind. No matter if it is reading one page of a book a day, making that one day a week, just keep moving forward. If you just try and just go through the hustle. And so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening to me. And I would love for any of you to connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook if you seek some advice or want to talk to me about anything.
Fantastic, Anand. It was very, I think it was really good to hear from you. Especially I like the two aspects that you spoke. One that you spoke, it's okay to make mistakes. And the second is it's okay to ask if you really need help. I really loved those two statements. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And now we move on to Nandish.
Okay, wait, let me share. Is my screen there?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
You can see your screen, right? Okay. So first of all, thank you, Ilanti, for giving us this opportunity to come and talk. I've been like off the KVO circuit and not been an active member or on this, but I'm happy to be here today and hopefully connect with people, talk to people now, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone who's here right now. My name is Nandish Kenya, and yeah, I'm going to talk about my journey. And before that, I'm so glad Anand has actually summarized a lot of my stuff, which I wanted to say in nice words, and I mean, really well spoken. So I'll try to not repeat them and try to change my narration a bit. But what I would try to do is try to put my journey on a scale like this. And at each point of my journey, I've learned something, whether those were challenges, whether those were opportunities, or whether key lessons to be taken away. I would just quickly focus on my experiences and this my journey. So, starting with born and brought up in Mumbai for the first 10 years of my life. Then I was in a boarding school for 5 years in Pune. Similar to Anand saying that boarding school did play a pivotal role in shaping of our career, our decisions, our thought processes. So that played a big role. Uh, then I moved back to Mumbai, staying back with parents. I did my graduation in KC College. So 5 years again, I was back in Mumbai. Then I decided to do my master's, went to Pune to do my master's in economics. So, I mean, that was a little change because I graduated from statistics and then out of curiosity, out of interest, I thought I'd do economics and I entered this master's course in economics. So it was a lot of hard work and I had to struggle a bit, but then eventually, yes, hard work does pay. So I got through that. Through that, smoothly, I got a campus placement, did a corporate job, joined IMRB International. It's a market research firm in Mumbai. I worked for about a year and a half there. Enjoyed the corporate life, the travel, the money, the financial independence from here on. But then that's where my real journey started because I started thinking a lot of those questions which Anand just spoke about, what are we doing, why are we doing, about a lot of things. So I decided to first take a break and just do a lot of introspection of what's the purpose of doing all this. Yeah, parents suggested, okay, you need to do a master's, you need to do a job, be independent. Fine, I did all that, but what next and why? What are those questions? So I did something unusual. I took a break and I decided to go to Kutch and live in Baroi, like the village that I'm from. So give me a lot of introspection. I was there for about 2.5 years. So I realized, the realizing the core values of why and what you're doing for what purpose. That time in Kutch was the most memorable time of my life. So some of the core values that I started, following was I'm a Jain. I don't eat under roots like onions, garlic, potatoes, and stuff, and I still don't. But those values were instilled then. Praying in the morning, praying in the night, setting up those values. Some people have those gym values, like no matter what, we'll go for workout. So I got those values and introspections there. I also simultaneously studied again philosophy. So I did a master's in philosophy course, studying various religions and comparative philosophy, which again, the whole, I went into this zone of introspection, which taught me a lot of you know values and such. The other thing that I learned from there was empathize. When you start living in village, you start realizing the simplicity at which people live with, and you realize how fortunate you are. And every time you go and talk to farmers, you talk to people, you just talk to them, and you realize how fortunate and how privileged you are coming from where you are. So my key learning over here was unsettling myself from the nice corporate life to this rugged life, going to did some farming, learned how to ride a tractor to, yeah, I mean, sweating out in the sun. So it was a good experience overall. So moving on from the Kutch experience, I decided that not the corporate life I want to do anymore. That's one thing I don't want to do. So let me, look for opportunities using the skill sets, achieved earlier. I decided to work for an international think tank, which was International Water Management Institute, where we had to work with farmers in Bangladesh and in India, like various parts of India, like West Bengal, Assam, and various other states. So it was more of social research, but I thought at least it was doing a good cause. So I realized that that's what I want to be, like be associated, going back again to the roots, talking to those farmers and trying to, do something for them in changing policies or something. So this is, and also I got married here in 2014 when I moved to Delhi. Uh, so my major challenge was I realized to, from again, the core values that I had of staying simple, living simple. Uh, my work led me to Bangladesh, and the food was a major concern there. I mean, I had food restrictions, and in Bangladesh, they don't even know what is vegetarian food. So I had my set of challenges there, dealing with food and dealing with kind of work also. So I think it was part of it. Then me and my wife both decided to pursue another master's degree in the US for the experience. So my wife got through first, she got through Harvard, and I got through three universities, Cornell, Georgetown, and I think Tufts. So in my mind, I knew I had to stay with Neeti, my wife, at the Harvard campus. So I knew that I had to, go to Tufts because that's in the same, area. So, but then I got scholarship at 50% in Tufts. I got scholarship of about 20% in Cornell and 15% in Georgetown. I leveraged that, and what Anand said, like, no matter what, keep asking. And, I mean, I wrote emails after emails to all these universities, negotiating with them that, hey, I mean, I wrote to Tufts, say, you know what, I got through Cornell, which is, an Ivy League, I want to get there, but, if you increase my funding, probably I'll think about you. I wrote to Cornell saying that, I got to Georgetown, it's in DC, I would want to be there, but, I like Cornell more. So just juggling between these universities, I managed to finally get like a 75% scholarship. And I got leeway into like taking my courses from other, you know, departments and stuff like that. I mean, you can work your way out to getting. So the key message was, don't, lose hope. Keep trying. As Ilanti said, like, financial. I do understand financial is the big major chunk of like why people kind of drop out or don't go to the US. But keep talking to people, keep asking. There are ways, there are funds, there are scholarships. Something or the other will come out of it. Um, my personal challenge here was studying again. 8 years of working on the field. So obviously the experience and maturity did show, but then I had some funny moments in class where, a math problem would be thrown and I would take like 5 minutes to solve it. And the younger folks would do it in 2 minutes. And I would be like, you know what, 10 years ago, I would do that in 2 minutes. But I think that was part of it. The key thing that I took from there was studying again always makes you, oil your brain cells, and that's very important to just keep learning again and again. Don't think that once you finish your education, once you've done your masters, that's the end of it. I think everyone should, keep studying whatever their passion is or whatever they want to, but keep studying. So this continuous process of learning, I think, keeps you relevant. Many of us today, like we feel like, what is coding, what is algorithms, but I think you need to be relevant. You need to keep learning. So my take in the US was the art of negotiation. Keep studying. Moving on, we decided to come back to India in 2017. So now work with a research organization called Nirman. Uh, we mainly do impact evaluation studies. We evaluate government policies. For example, if government wants to give like cash transfers to farmers, so we kind of go on field, collect data, analyze, do a cost benefit analysis, what's the most efficient way of doing it, and kind of suggest the government like what policies work and what don't. So we do those impact evaluation studies. So that's where I am right now, currently at Nirman. I have a 6-month-old baby, which keeps me busy all day and have to juggle work and maybe some new challenges. And what's next? My personal challenge. I don't know clearly, but I think I may be in for PhD in years' time. I don't know on which subject also. It could be on philosophy, or it could be in economics, or it could be on public policy. But yeah, that's something. But I think I would study all my life. So that's my personal thing. So all the people at whatever age group keep studying. And to end, I have some fond memories of Kutch. You can see on the left where I learned how to drive a tractor, chopping coconuts. On the left hand side, you can see my staple food in many parts of the country, just plain rice and boiled dal. I had that boiled rice and dal for a month in Bangladesh for my lunch and dinner for 30 days. So, and those were like the testing times. Then my graduation ceremony in the US with my mom, the Bangladesh fieldwork, that's how we used to travel. And on the right hand side, the work right now takes me to the Naxal areas in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, some remotest places in Bihar, somewhere in West Bengal, Assam. So yeah, I keep traveling. So I think that's been my journey. I love what I'm doing. Makes me travel. Makes me travel to the remotest part of the country. Makes me grounded. Makes me value our systems, what we have, and yeah, that's it. So that's my story. Open to questions. Open to. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, however you feel. You can talk. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandish. I think the takeaway from your story was very impressive about your negotiation with the universities. And I think the journey of continuous education, never to stop learning. I think this was the takeaway from your entire presentation. And of course, we'll come back with some more questions for you. And now we move on to Milind.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to people from all over the world joining in live here. I wanted to give a big thanks to Dr. Ila Dedia for giving me an opportunity to tell my story, my challenges, the opportunities that I've had, and possibly to not give some advice, but try to give encouragement to students and everybody who is listening in. so that there are things that we can do and we want to do that we can do. So let me start off by sharing my screen here. Can you guys see my screen? All right.
Yeah, we can see your screen. You need to go to slideshow.
Okay. So again, hello everyone. My name is Milind. I'm currently an ESD and a latch-up engineer at Micron Technology in Boise, Idaho. I've been here for 3 years. It's been a wonderful journey so far, and I'm still quite intrigued and curious as to where this journey is going to take me. I've been a part of Texas Instruments before, and I've worked at many other institutions and companies as consultant as well. I've worked with Modestry Industries. I've been a consultant at NASA at JPL. I've been a consultant to a Boeing company, Caterpillar as well. And but these are the passions that I have to work with different companies for different ideas, and ended up working with them. I am a master's graduate in solid state physics, in nanotechnology, and also dual degree in electrical and computer engineering with a minors in business administration from the Ross School of Business. Um, and I did my bachelor's in Vijay TI. Now, just to share this, I want to say a few things. The journey has not been simple. There have been a lot of challenges, which I'll speak about. But the key point here is that the pe- people, as everybody, I was not sure what I want to do, and even today, I think about what I'm going to do next. And you don't have to fix upon one idea that, oh, okay, I don't know what to do, and I'm never going to be able to achieve that dream because I don't have a dream yet. But it's okay. I think what you are at that moment of time, that you follow your passion and that the follow the things that you want to achieve, is what you have to look forward to. And that's how I've landed up here in Boise. Some of my key passions that I wanted to mention was dancing was one of my biggest passions, and I think some of my decisions to join, for example, University of Michigan has been not only through my research work with Professor Wei Lu, but also through dancing, because Michigan has one of the biggest ballroom dance team in the United States. And to be a part of it was amazing to learn the things that I've learned about about uh, team building, practices that we used to have late night, the effort that we had to put, the discipline that we had to go through, and not just in dancing, but that applies to every single aspect of your life, was amazing. I love cricket. I've been a part of Boise Cricket Club for the last 3 years, and I'm an executive member here, but I work with them to incorporate all of the players that we get through Boise to USA Cricket as well. So that's been an awesome exposure for me to see where my other hobbies go. And with my wife, I have started a nonprofit organization called Swing Out Adventure here in Boise, where we uh, try to grow the community of dancing, which is specifically swing dancing. And we teach swing dancing with other friends and instructors here in the city of Boise, and travel around the U.S. For various competitions and also workshops. My other day work key passions are quantum physics, device physics, and ESD and Latchup, my day job. As you can see, there's a whiteboard with a lot of different equations, including all the wave equations that I usually work with. So as kids, we used to ask, why am I learning differential equations in math or algebra? Why am I learning integration? Why am I learning so much geometry when I'm not going to apply in my daily life? I think I'm one of those who actually get to apply in that daily life. But the idea behind that is we question everything when we are kids. And why am I learning history? Why am I learning geography? I think those are the key subjects which let you choose, okay, what do you like from those subjects? If you like something, can you pursue something in those things? So I enjoyed math and science throughout my life, and I wanted to make something out of it. So I started with um, being an electronics engineer, and uh, learning got my bachelor's in VJTI, and learning through different opportunities at Texas Instruments. I joined Texas Instruments straight out of my college, um, and worked there for 3 years in Bangalore, as again an ESD and latch-up engineer. I published some papers with my peers, and then I decided, okay, this is getting a lot monotonous. I need to change things up. Um, but the idea to reach there was not straightforward, that I like science and math, but science is so broad. I actually enjoyed more in biology. So I wanted to pursue medicine in the first place. In fact, I even applied for schools after my MHT CET scores were good, and I got admissions in Sion Hospital and even in KEM. But then for just before day one, something hit, and I decided, no, I think I enjoy math more. And and despite popular opinion that no, if you go into medical school, you become a doctor, you become status quo, everybody will respect you, you will earn a lot of money. But I think I wanted to chase my own passions. I wanted to create uh, different technology, and that's what I did. um, People talk about like different challenges, and one of the biggest stigma in India is to accept that, okay, everybody or individual us have different kind of challenges, or different kind of failures, or different kind of emotions and ideas that we cannot express. I think it is, and it's not just in India, but in almost everywhere that I've been. But one of the biggest things that I've learned over the years in my throughout my journey is that accepting what you are, accepting who you are, and reflecting upon oneself to see what drives you, and what are the obstacles in those path. It could be tangible things, and it could be intangible things. It could be as tangible as money, for that matter. But like Anand and Nandish mentioned, right, you have to ask for help if you need. There are so many different scholarship programs, there are so many people who help. And one of the things that even KVO Samaj helped me was through money, and giving me loans where I can actually go and study abroad, and study and pursue my dreams. But with non-tangible and at other tangible ways, like accidents. I had a accident where I kind of broke my thumb, and I wasn't sure if I'm ever going to regain my movement, but I did eventually. But there are intangible things like worry, laziness, stress, lack of confidence, fears, overwork, negativity, obsessions, procrastination, indecision, lack of discipline. And this can come either together or either one at a time, you never know. But identifying those will help you overcome those, I think. And all you have to do is take the first step towards your goal. um, some of the things that I just wanted to share was uh, my love of dancing. I've danced all over, I think, United States in different competitions, probably in 20 different states, and it's been an amazing journey to meet so many people, to learn their background, to learn their ideas. So I think the one most important thing that I've found is to talk to people about where they come from, what is their idea of success, what is their idea of failures, what is their idea of seeing things through, um, what are the things that drives them, or what are the things um, that how they overcome them. So I think um, dancing has allowed me to see those people and meet that many people in different states. and different countries to be enabled to learn from each of those experiences and inculcate in my own. I also love painting. These are a couple of my paintings that I did a long time back. um, so the left one is the sponge painting, and the right one is the watercolored and digital art mixed together. But again, if I would not have tried something, I would not have been able to see what I can do with it. One big message that just want to share through all the things that I'm showing here that I've done. I've even tried my hand at cheerleading at University of Michigan, to be able to perform between about 1 lakh people. I think that was one of the best feelings that you get, with people shouting and cheering for you, and then you cheering for your own team and for everybody else. Uh, it was one of the most amazing feelings. And yeah, cricket. But I think coming back to all of this, just wanted to share that these are not the challenges that you get over in just one thing that you want to do. These are the challenges you can get in everyday life as well. So someday you're just not feeling right, laziness. Someday you just either worry too much. How am I going to get past this project, or how am I going to um, step up in, or how am I going to pay for some bills, or procrastinate. I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm just too tired or too lazy. I have too many negative emotions. I think one thing that has definitely helped me is, I'm going to stop share, but I want to share this on my video, is this book. It's called 2 Minute Mornings. 2 Minute Mornings is the book where it's kind of like a journal to win your day every day. I just write in that morning, how am I feeling, what am I doing, what am I planning to do today, towards the goals that I have, towards the dreams that I have. And I think that when I write it down, it materializes into those things, and then I can actively think on it, and I can actively work towards it, rather than putting it back in the back of my mind, and letting my all those fears come out suddenly, that okay, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe there are other things, invisible things, stopping me from doing what I want to do. um, so going back to the presentation, these are the things that have allowed me to actually get through all the challenges in my life. And I have not even spoken of personal challenges. One of the biggest challenge was lack of guidance. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in life. So initially I pursued medical field. Then I even tried my hand at race car driving. I ended up uh, um, uh, registering myself in Formula 2, got my hand at training for 6 months, drove a few cars, had an accident, and then I realized maybe this is not for me. I tried painting. This is a love that I got from one of my neighbors when I grew up in Kurla, and my mom, who is an amazing painter as well. And I loved doing painting. I even had a gallery in my school displaying some of my paintings. But I realized that that is not something that I want to pursue again. Then I jumped ahead to physics. Physics is one constant thing, which again I went back and tried, and getting my electronics degree, going to Texas Instruments, and then I realized that is stagnating, that has become monotonous. So I decided to try teaching. In between, I taught at various schools, and even in Mumbai. I started teaching at University of Michigan as well, as an associate lecturer. I had I, that teaching comes from the fact that I had an amazing passion about education. I believe that everybody definitely needs to invest in education. And while we do not have free education for all in India, I do know that there are multiple opportunities where you can get financial helps and other guidance today for education. So I started tutoring kids. I started mentoring online. That allowed me to be able to connect with the Maharashtra State Board Education. I started working with them to improve the syllabus over time in engineering schools, as well as in 9th and 10th grade standard. Um, I'm fortunate to say that I was able to make great impact there by introducing 2 new courses in engineering for first year electronic students, and definitely improving the science courses in 9th standard courses. But the challenges there were completely different. There's a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of backdrop. There's a lot of monopoly business over there. But again, I wanted to try. I wanted to just give back to that community again, and follow my passion of education. Um, I realized later I'm not able to make as much difference as I thought I would. So I went back to my love of dancing. I think this kind of my life history about trying different things is comes from the fact that it's our greatest weaknesses, it lies in just giving up. Instead, the most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. And I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Milind. So the takeaway from your session is keep trying and try each thing at least one more time. I think the versatility that you've had is something that is a message for many. I think all the three of y'all, the common thread that I can see between all the three of y'all is that challenges are bound to be there. Failures are also going to be there. It's a part and parcel of our life. It's an essence of life. We need to identify that and find solutions. I think that's what all the three of y'all have been communicating in different ways and based on different exposures that you've had. There are a few questions on YouTube, which I would like to ask y'all before you would like to take questions for each other. Laxkania, who's a trustee of this organization, is asking Milind, is it worth pursuing nanotechnology or were you ahead of time?
Absolutely, yes. Nanotechnology is one of the most front and foremost front runners in the technology world right now. Nanotechnology encompasses not just in device physics or electronics, but in material science, in every single new invention that we are looking at. So, for example, uh, in new textile, we have a different type of cloth because of nanotechnology, carbon fiber, that we are using those carbon fiber for not just coating electronic products, but even space applications, for higher conductivity and better thermal conductivity. We are doing each and every innovation that we see in our daily lives, like from touchscreen cell phone, to our new smart refrigerators, to our education channel. It's all part of nanotechnology. And I think I have been blessed to have those opportunities to go through the nanotechnology in device physics, and being able to come up with devices which can work in any harsh environment, be it space, be it Earth, be it in outside of our solar system. So yes, I say nanotechnology is one of the most prevalent of the fields everywhere. Even in structural, like building bridges, there are new materials that are being built with different composition of cement that are a result of nanotechnology, that can support and bear more load for over a period of time. And I can just give you examples of nanotechnology everywhere around us, and I think it's great to pursue that.
I would just like to add, in fact, nanotechnology can be the future even to fight the pandemic.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Application
absolutely.
on the textile or the PPE or whatever that we use.
And in fact, bio-nanotechnology is one of the new upcoming fields where nanotechnology and biology has combined together to find more and more um, uh, uh, ways in which we can cure cancers, and more ways in which we can cure other diseases that we don't have solution for.
Yeah, I agree. Laxkania asks a question to Nandish. can everyone negotiate scholarships on the fees? I mean, that's especially for the US universities, like the way you did. Do you think that can be applied to every student?
So the answer is yes and no. So the answer is yes and no. Uh, so first, I think you got to everybody has to do their own homework. I mean, and know where your strengths lie. Also, do in-depth research of what the university wants and what they are, they are looking out for. So I think a lot of groundwork has to be first done by you before you start negotiating. And giving an example, you go to buy, let's say, a T-shirt on Fashion Street. I mean, you know the price, what you're ready to pay, and you know your stance, and you do your homework, right, before going. So it's not as easy as it sounds that, oh, I negotiated with T and I got it. But it's like a lot of groundwork that you have to do. So you have to know your own strengths, what value you would bring on the table, be upfront about your strengths that you will, help them to collaborate. I think one more thing as Indians generally we do is like, we don't, I mean, the whole thing of like calling sir, giving respect and stuff like that to US guys. So I think what they value is like, you are equal, you are like, you can bring in value to them by getting you in the US. So I think that's how the pitch should be. So each one has to understand their own, strengths and then take a call.
Anand, there's a question for you from Lex Kenya. What will be the first three priorities for India in the area of sustainable energy?
Thank you, Lex Uncle, for the question. I think priority-wise, there is a lot of initiative by the MNRE right now. Like they've opened up the grid and they're allowing individual market players to trade. I think connecting the grid and getting everyone on the electric grid was the first priority, and the government is doing that. Now that we have a free market, I think what will happen is automatically this accelerates innovation. This accelerates the ability to try out new products that can, or new systems that can influence the sustainable energy in India. And I think all in all, this all comes under some big umbrella of policy. Our government is currently very pro green and sustainable energy. They've had a recent tie-up with Denmark and they are in the right direction, but this needs to be a lot more aggressive because we are a 1.4 billion population and our demand is only increasing. So it's not about just converting to sustainable energy, it's about converting to it fast.
Got it. Anand, there's a question for you from Sanjay Shah, who is also the trustee of this organization. Would you like to advise students to have a plan B or a plan C in place when plan A fails? And he appreciates your submission that mistakes are a learning point.
Yes. I think so, right? Like based on my experience right now, I am looking for long-term opportunities and I am in that space where I have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. You apply for a university, you apply for 3 because you think that's your target A, target B, target C. And in most cases, it's always that, but but there's also the point that you invest everything into plan A as if that is what you want and that is what you're going to get. B and plan C is only when you fail or it's a safety net. And sometimes it is good to have that safety net and sometimes it's also good not to have it and just go all in and see what happens. And for me, that experience was going to Denmark where I was like, I raised quite a few eyebrows because not a lot of people say going to Europe, going to Denmark. I didn't have US or Australia or Canada as a plan B. I knew this is what I wanted. And so there are cases where it's good to have that, but if you're motivated and you're really sure about your plan A, then don't give yourself a safety net because that will allow you to push everything into what you really want.
Sanjay Shah asks Anand, learning electrical engineering. Sorry, first I'll go to Nandish. Sanjay Shah has asked the question to Nandish. Did you ever think of joining a large consultancy like a McKinsey or Bain or BCG as opportunity to consultancy, learn, achieved, continuously learn, achieved, and real life problems and solutions possible?
Uh, Let me think about it. I say consciously, no, I never thought. I mean, obviously, the application process, I never applied to those as just a value that after leaving my corporate job, I had told myself that never to the corporates again. And obviously, I do know the life of how these consultancy works, the big four, and like, we have friends there. So it was a very conscious decision in terms of balancing family life, personal life, and consciously not taking the consultancy route. So I think it was my personal choice for the kind of life I wanted to live, and that's why I never applied. I never even bothered going in that segment. But yeah, that's my answer.
Sanjay Shah's question to Anand. Learning electrical engineering here, how did you find your level when you compared with your colleagues for the master's program?
That is an interesting question. I think because the education system in Denmark is very unique. It's very different. It's much more open. Like I think Milind mentioned, it's like your professors are equals. They treat you as an equal. So I think in some sense I was better at like remembering stuff because that's what the system trained me to do. It trained me to remember formulas. It trained me to remember laws and stuff. But if I was given up, like over here, our grading is mainly based on projects and assignments and practical applications where it's not about what you remember. You can refer to your material as much as you like, but it's about how unique your thinking and application is. And that's where I fell short in the first semester. And I had to catch up with that because there is a big difference between knowing and applying. And we focus a lot on just knowing in India, whereas it's so much more important to focus in the field on applying. So I think that should answer the question.
I think this would be the case for all the developed nations where education basically is more on application and the ability to apply knowledge. Okay. Sanjay Shah mentions all of you moved out of your comfort zone, all the three of you, to achieve your goals. What would be your message to students who are hearing you?
I can start. I think it's more about the journey rather than the destination. So whether we achieve our destination or not, but just unsettling yourself is and then going through that rigor of reaching your destination is more valuable because that's where you learn all your life lessons. So I think I mean if you're comfortable in where you are, I think it's time to move on. I mean that's my thing. So yeah, and that's what I've been doing actually. Like every 3 years I've kind of moved on to something else. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and I think everyone has to answer this question for themselves. For example, if you are comfortable, do you want to stay there, or do you want to move up, or do you want to go somewhere else, or do something else? When I was in Bangalore, I was very comfortable with my job at Texas Instruments, and I just was a successful engineer there as well. But at the time, I realized that I was stagnating a little bit. I didn't see a potential growth in my own skill set. So I decided to pursue masters in solid state physics. It was a big jump, completely different country, completely different. I had to learn to cook to survive. I didn't know how to cook, and I didn't have time to learn to cook in India. So, and that is the biggest challenge, right? And we didn't even think about those things. When coming to US from India, was a completely different zone where you have to learn to cook, you have to do everything on your own. A new education system, like Anand mentioned, completely different from what we had from India. So we have to learn what's going on there. The advancement and the competition that you get. No, I'm not saying competition, but your colleagues and your peers that you get, your friends that you get from so many different places are brilliant. Suddenly you see that there's so much more to learn, and it's a definite out of comfort zone. And when I talk about the challenges that arise, the fear, the anxiety, that those are all real things. But to know that, okay, you want to achieve something in life, you want to gain more skill sets, if that is going to drive you, I think those can be overcome by having your aim and your target in mind every day, and knowing that you have come out of your comfort zone and you want to achieve a different skill set or a newer skill set, or and want to learn things. I think that is what will probably drive you to do what you want to do in life.
Uh,
Oh, should I add to that just quickly? Uh, I would like to say that it's okay to stay in your comfort zone. It's if that's what you seek, but it's a lot more rewarding to get out of it, and it's a lot easier than you think it is. It's as simple as getting out of bed, putting on good clothes, and getting out of your room, because your life is happening just outside that room. In your room, you're comfortable. Outside is where you're learning. So it's really easy to get out of your comfort zone.
there are a lot of appreciative messages. Chandrika Cheda writes, really appreciate all the three of you who have proved that hard work and multitasking creates all possibilities in life. There is a question by Mahendra Bhai Cheda, who is also a trustee. What is the future of artificial intelligence? What are the major application areas?
So I like to start with that. Artificial intelligence, the major application areas could be literally in everything that we do, right from data science, right from media company, networking companies, what you see, your shopping ideas, and towards all the um, new inventions that we're doing, or even artificial intelligence in everyday activities, in pharmacy, in drug development for curing different diseases, in day-to-day activities as well. So artificial intelligence has a lot of application, and there is no bread to it, but there's definitely a beginning to it. So yeah, once you start doing that, if you have a certain idea that you want to implement towards, I think artificial intelligence is definitely the key forward right now. We are employing artificial intelligence even in our day-to-day activities at our workplace, for understanding what are the different defects that you get in manufacturing silicon. How would an electron behave in certain conditions? So yeah.
Yeah. Would anyone of you like to add?
I can add something. There's something that, in my experience, I find that people throw around the word artificial intelligence very lightly without actually understanding what that is clearly. Artificial intelligence has a lot to do with data, and I agree it has a lot of applications. But also, I recently saw an example by a very famous person in the machine learning and artificial intelligence space where they tried to convert a pixelated image into an actual image, and the AI algorithm converted it into a white man's image. And basically, that's because AI is based on whatever input data that you give to the system. And that is so controlled by the Western world and the developed countries that the applications that will develop and the solution that will develop will be catering to them. But on the other hand, if we as a developing nation work in this field, then we have the chance and a greater strength to change the status quo. This is the next most competitive space to be in. AI has applications, as Milind said, everywhere, but its ramifications in the race. That's why US and China are competing against each other in getting better at AI, because they see that it sort of holds the chalice to controlling the narrative.
Yeah. Nandish, would you want to add anything?
I mean, I let the engineers talk. But I mean, I agree with both of them. I mean,
Yeah.
data is the next thing, and it's the next. I mean, this is the thing. So, today we're talking about artificial intelligence, but maybe I don't know. 20 years later, maybe there's something else. So stay relevant, keep learning. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's true. It's all the decade where you are, the era where you are. There is going to be something new that is going to be discussed. And in the next decade, that becomes archives. So my question to all the three of you all, of course, you can have your round of questions for each other first, before I can take you all for a round of questions. We can have
I
a
had a
rapid round with each of you all.
I just wanted to actually, because you mentioned everyone has their decades and there's a thing, but I think that any sort of knowledge, old or new, has some sort of relevance if you can apply it. And in that sense, I would love to know a little more from Nandish actually, because he worked in agriculture, he worked with the farming, and that sector is considered older sector, but in terms of sustainability, I know that it is one of the trickiest and most important sectors to deal with. Moreover, connecting to my point that people need to explore more fields, and you don't need to look at just the front end of what's happening in the world today. You can actually look at improving what already exists. And so I want Nandish to maybe talk a little more about this, the agriculture sector, and how that or something similar can be a new field to explore despite it being not trendy.
In fact, Nandish, even I had the same question for you. So you can
So,
go.
so I don't know. Okay, I'll try to explain as much as I can. So, yes, I mean, people do talk about it as like, the next thing, and it sounds very interesting, and sustainability. And so I think one of the most joyous moments is like when you start growing something, and farming actually does that. Like, and I mean, it could be like a small plant in your house. The moment you see it grow, you would like, wow, this is what I do. This is my product. So similarly, farming does that. But the reality is that in India, at least, it's not that easy. The ground realities are way more worse and than what it looks from outside. So it's all rosy sitting in Mumbai in an office saying that, you know what, we'll do this Excel sheet and this will be like the production and this will be the cost and this is how we do. But I think the key is get out there, get your hands and legs dirty, know how to do everything, and then start it, which people often don't. So, I mean, thing is like if you are an engineer and you talk about nanotech, you need to know what exactly happens, the ABC of why it happens. And not just like, hey, you know what, we'll make this product which will use AI. And I'll be like, you know what, I don't know AI, so you can't do that. So that's what people generally, my worry and my, caution to people who are trying to do is get out there, live there, be ready to spend your time in the on the farms, and then think about like getting or doing it. So and the thing is, try it. Obviously, if you don't try various things, you would never know whether you want to do it or not do it. So I think there is potential, there is scale, but it's not as glamorous as the other world looks like, in the metro. So definitely, it's not glamorous. So yeah, if you're prepared for it, I think you should go for it. It'll give you a lot of satisfaction more than anything else. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. The other two, if you all have any questions for each other. Milind,
I
do
can
you
ask.
your audio?
Sorry, go ahead.
Milind, you said you experienced working with the education system in India. It's not easy. I have a few friends also exploring that space, and I feel that a lot of our problems can be solved with that. But like, how would you inspire some of the people who are watching you right now to get into that space, despite being something that is tricky and difficult?
Um, I think, like Nandesh mentioned, right? If you don't get your hands dirty, you would never know what's happening, because education sector right now is such a closed space, a monopolized space, if you will, by just the Maharashtra State Board education, that they would not accredit if you are not a part of them. So the private schools cannot be independent and autonomous without their own consent. So all you have opportunities to get your own degree certificate by, let's say, I'm talking about Maharashtra, because I've worked with them. With Maharashtra is to follow their rules. But at some point, you have to question those rules, whether they are still applicable in today's world. There are so many things that we learn that are either incorrect, false information, or are outdated information. While we would love to learn what is history, and definitely history helps us, I'm not talking the history subject, but the history of, let's say, a BJT transistor, that would help you to learn about MOSFET in today's world. And eventually, 5 years from now, the MOSFET is going to go obsolete. It's already going obsolete. We are talking about FinFETs, which is 3D transistor. So and all around gate. I'm going more technical here, but point is learning those things. So I think, uh, coming back to your question, it is important that if you are passionate about education, then you definitely get in touch with people who are in the Maharashtra Education Board, and their websites do give some contacts, but they never respond to you unless you keep emailing them every single day of your life. I had to contact them for 2 straight months to be able to get, okay, a contact information of a publisher who would give me the editor of the book, who would give me the contact of the author of the book, who would give me the contact of, okay, the assistant of the author of the book, who I would eventually contact and say, hey, we have to make these changes. And then going through 10 different step of auto like of approval stages, where, okay, we need to get approved from the Board of Education, we need to get approved from other demographics data, we have to get approved from so many different things. Unfortunately, those can't be changed unless you yourselves are probably a bigger figure in politics. But I think keep plugging away and you will be able to make a difference there. I in my own personal experience, I ended up working for 3 straight years to make to introduce new chapters. It took me 3 years to introduce 2 new chapters. So I think that tells you all at this point. But I think, while I'm saying some negative things about our system, do want to say that there is definitely a glimmer of hope. When I left there, I saw that there were new professors. But if I have to remember by name, Professor Rizwan was one of the professors who was very passionate about education, who was very vocal in the community of education, and there are more new and new professors coming in with that passion to change for the better. They were able to introduce, because they are professors, they are in and out every single day, teaching those subjects and communicating with the state departments that and the education department. So they were able to make more changes in a quicker amount of time, by introducing 2 new courses altogether in engineering.
Yeah. There is a question in the meanwhile on YouTube, and that's from Sanjay Bhai. What would be the education path for artificial intelligence? In fact, recently there are new engineering courses started, 2 new, one on data management and one on artificial intelligence. But of course, that's not there in all the colleges. There are some couple colleges where this is started. Maybe you can throw more light on it.
Can I add something? Or
Yeah.
Milind, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. For example, I have been in touch with a few professors, namely which I've already mentioned, Professor Rizwan, and though they have introduced AI as one of the courses in VJTI, and we are now introducing that in the University of Michigan, not Michigan, sorry, Mumbai University as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think there are more and more courses on AI and machine learning, which are slightly available. So if you are an undergraduate study course in computer science, IT, information technology, electronics, electrical, you can still take those as electives today. So they are a, a brand new course which just gives you the basics and the breadth of it right now. But definitely for learning specifically about artificial intelligence, I would definitely suggest some higher education masters. Unfortunately, right now, I'm not aware of what are the opportunities in India, but I am definitely aware of what are the opportunities here in the US. They have a rigorous program in data science, data information, machine learning courses, and artificial intelligence courses right from their bachelor's to masters to PhD, and there are some of the best professors that I can probably comment on YouTube, and later on, or pass it on to you to forward it to everybody watching this. So you can connect with those professors and email them. They are really good. They will reply you back. I can definitely assure that.
Yeah, but
I would suggest, yeah, email the professors, and they they would definitely guide you on how to start at least into this field.
yeah, but Milind, you're right. In Mumbai University also, it has started recently. Machine
Hmm.
as well as AI.
Yeah, that was one of the courses that I was working really hard to push forward for last 7 years now.
Okay. Yeah, you
Uh,
want to say something, Anand?
yes, ma'am, I just want to add that while if AI is your end goal, then definitely it's a good route to target that. But based on my understanding of it, based on the people I follow in that field, what I do know is that AI is not limited to just tech. There is a major question of morality and humanities also to the future of AI. In the future, we are going to need people studying psychology, people studying neurology to support AI, because when bio and tech come together, that is going to be an interesting field for AI to work with. And so, what I think is that you can be in the field of AI irrespective of what you're learning. If you just pick up along with your field courses on programming, using data, which are so easily available online, the resources are so easily available. So many people teach themselves programming, and it doesn't take more than 6 months to 1 year. It takes dedication, but it's something that will add to your profile without having that AI tag, and you can say that this is the application you can do in your field without having studied AI. Because when you study AI, you're learning to use like learning that application process, but that specific field knowledge will be missing out.
Yeah.
So I just want to add quickly, Anand definitely has hit a right point here. If you want to pursue AI as a full-time, studying how AI and machine learning would work, and want to develop for any and other different kind of applications, great. But if you have one specific application in mind that you, or one specific passion that you want to follow, but incorporate AI into that, that is definitely doable. I think, in fact, even my master's thesis about computer architecture and finding out what are the bugs in your hardware architecture involved machine learning. Actually, I ended up employing some machine learning algorithms to its self-detect issues. So like he said, right, you have the ability to incorporate AI in everything that you do, or you can pursue AI as it is.
There's a question from Nidhi Gala. Can you speak about how you go through the presenting of papers or research or projects that you have to? I'm not very clear about the question.
So I think identifying the problem statement is the best way to start. When you have trying, so I'm trying to see the question. If the question says, can you speak about how you go through for presenting researches or projects you have to? So if you're just talking about presenting, I think it's about what is the problem statement, how are you trying to solve it, why is this one way to solve it, and why is this a better way to solve it, and what are the other applications or other future additions that you can do in that problem statement. Now that is one way to present something that you're doing. And if you're doing something completely different, like an art, I believe presenting art is completely different than presenting a problem statement. In art, you will have your own portfolio, starting from what are the kind of abstract information, what is your idea of intangible emotions that you want to get out of it, so you can present it that way. But if it is not about presentation, if it is about building a project, then I think it's also about identifying the problem statement, and so what are the current solutions today, and what you want to bring to that current solutions, how you're going to change tackle it differently.
You would begin with a hypothesis, and then maybe you'll move ahead to prove it right or wrong or whatever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can prove it. There are so many times that we end up proving, okay, maybe this will not work, and that is fine too. That is a result of your research.
That's also a result.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a question from Hetvi Dhruva. If you could guide her on whether actual science, along with a master's in data science, should be a good combination. Any one of you can answer on this? Actual science and data science.
I'm not sure what actual science mean. Is
I know what actual science means, but I don't know how to, because I mean, I also started, I gave 2 papers of actual science. So it's a complete different, I think, industry, it's insurance industry, and it's, yeah, it's different. I don't know how AI fits into the place. So like, I know actual science, but I don't know AI enough to know where this is.
I would just read the question and I don't know much about actual science. I just like a brief Google right now. But I think I can ask and add to I give a more general response that you can add data science to any field today.
Exactly.
If you were to
so
collect data, you can do data science in that field. So that combination of working with data and any field else that you're interested in will work in general across the board.
I'll quickly add to that. I just googled really quickly what is actual science. It says it's a discipline that applies mathematical and statistical methods to assess risk in insurance, finance, and other industries. In fact, one of my friends works in Capital One here in the US, and we talk about data science and how data science impacts today's insurance. So we get car insurance, we get life insurance, we get medical insurance, and we also finance our car. Let's say if you buy a car, you get a car loan. How do they make decisions that, oh, you will be able to pay us back, and what at what interest rate, at what besides discrimination, let's assume that everything is equitable, everybody is given equal opportunity for credit. So if you are given equal opportunity to credit, how do I determine that you are going to pay the lender back, and how you are going to determine at what period of time? So they do a lot of rigorous study from calculations from last 20 odd years through different data science algorithms, where they are able to predict, and they are able to tell this is how the market is going to go, this is the spending power, and this is the purchase power of them. So they do employ data science in their decision making process of who do they lend, or how much would they charge you for insurance premiums for a particular type of car insurance or medical insurance. And even and everything is tied to the credit score in the US, which is also we also have a similar one in India. I don't remember the name of it now. um, so yeah.
So my last question to all the three of y'all. As I said, the common line, the link for all the three of y'all has been somewhere it is on accepting, I would not call it as failure, accepting challenges as they come in life. Sometimes a challenge leads you to another success. That's the common line of thought that I can actually understand from the three of y'all. I would just like you all to now, the last question this is, uh, if you could guide on what you think would be the 21st century skill sets based on your experiences in your journey of education and profession. What would be the future skill sets that you think the students must start getting equipped with, whether the curriculum has it or the curriculum does not have it? Milind, I know that there are certain curriculum challenges which are there because of several reasons. Irrespective of that, there are different ways of gathering skills. So, what would be those skills that y'all would stress on? And we leave it to the youngsters to find their way to swim through them and to acquire them. But let's throw light on what are the skill sets you think are the most important. Maybe you can just give three skill sets that you really think are important. And this is a question for all the three of you, one after the other.
Who wants to go first?
Uh,
Okay. I can go first. I think the first and foremost thing I want to tell anybody and everybody that is listening is that if you want to do something, if you want to pursue something, go pursue it. Uh, Geology is important, art is important. There are so many amazing dance performers, singers, artists, scientists, researchers, mathematicians, statisticians, historians. Literally every single thing that you would want to become, if you try to excel to your best ability, I think you would do great. Um, Speaking of that and moving forward, for particular skill sets, because I work in device physics, nanotechnology area, I would say in my own area, uh, machine learning, artificial intelligence is one of the biggest upcoming things, including data science. Um, Core physics is something that I need to learn for my own next future research projects. And mathematics, literally from our basic algebra and geometry to differential equations, integral calculus, and each and every further even wave equations for that matter, are the skills that are needed for my own field to be excelled at. But again, saying that, I'm talking about my own field, but these are the fields that are there in my own domain for more and more research in the future. But again, I want to stress very much on the fact that if you are interested in doing something, there is nothing holding you back. You have to excel at it, and those you will definitely achieve success in what you want to do in life. So
Okay, I can go next. The three things, if you ask me, like what skill sets. So I mean, recently I read, and I was reading something that I think 65% of the things that we are doing now, the courses and the things that we are learning, over next 2 decades are going to be irrelevant. So there is no point, like somebody who's going to do 20 years now, he won't be using these skills because it's what we are learning right now. So the only valuable skill sets that will last, I think, for centuries. So hard work, wanting to learn at every stage in life, whether it's now 10 years, 20 years, 40 years later. So like wanting to learn, hard work, and not give up. I think those three skill sets should be those for me.
Uh, I'd like to wrap it up with this is like something very tangible, that a question I get, and I feel these days the answer I tend to give is, don't go into the trend word studies just because you think that will get you a job, that'll get you the money. Instead, I would recommend uh, doing a dual thing where you pick up something very fundamental, like you pick up economics, or you pick up, as he said, physics, or something general that will lay your foundation for understanding anything that you want to learn in the future. Something very basic, something very general. Along with that, learn how to work with computers, learn how to work with code. Those two things clubbed with constantly keep on learning again and again will give you the longevity that you require in your career and in your life. When you have your fundamental knowledge like that block clear, because right now technology developing at a crazy rate, but the fundamentals are the same. If you are a statistician, then you are able to work with data and AI very easily, and with anything else mathematic related, in any field that you can pick up knowledge on. So pick something very fundamental, learn some coding, and keep on learning, and that will give you the skill set to shift careers and keep like stay in like whatever is trending at that moment. That's the one thing. The second thing is, uh, it's as we already said, like, don't choose a profession, like choose something that like can solve a problem. And
choose a passion.
yeah,
Yeah.
like something that you feel is something you can stick with, and something that will benefit someone else. Just benefiting yourself is not enough. And the last thing, and this is overlooked so many times, is at the end of the day, your work, no matter what you're doing, is going to have something to do with people. So learn to work with people, learn to understand people, learn to network with them, learn to communicate with them, learn to present to them. As like today, some of the most amazing people in the world are where they are because they can manage people, not because they're the smartest or know the most, but they know people and they understand people. So focus on people and you will find your way ahead.
Yeah, I agree to
Very well said, Anand.
Yeah, very well said. And if there is any more message that you would like to add, anything that is that you
I would like to say, please do not hesitate to ask anybody for any help, any questions. People are most likely would want to help you. You may get some misinformation, but it is again your own duty to do your own research, seek online help, seek people who have been in the field. If you just go and let's say follow some artist, follow someone personality, if you just email them, like I admired a professor who with their research work amazing, so I just emailed them. I don't know if they're going to respond to them, right? In 2 weeks they actually responded to me, and I could not imagine. I even had a lunch talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson discussing quantum physics, and I had no idea that he's going to respond. Point is, please ask questions, reach out to anybody who you think is going to be able to at least give you information, help you. I think those are the key takeaways that I would want you to have. Please, thank you.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, yeah, feel free. We can share our numbers, reach out to us. And as Milind said, like, I mean, recently, a couple of months ago, I was writing about a paper and I wrote an email to Esther Duplo about, like, things that we were doing. She replied in less than 24 hours. And I was shocked, like, I mean, personally, like, yeah. So just reach out, don't feel shy, just write, and you will get an answer. So,
It was an amazing journey today of this 90 minutes from Denmark to US to Delhi and to Mumbai. It was really an amazing journey, and still where your roots are in Mumbai. So I'm sure the people who have were watching you all on YouTube were very happy to connect to you, to see you live today. And the KVO community is certainly very, very proud of the jewels that you all are. Remember that the KVO community is always there for you all. Whenever you need any help, also we are there. And definitely it's vice versa. We'll also connect with you whenever there is help required from here. We really had a wonderful, constructive discussion and hope to connect with you all still in future for many more things. And thanks to all the three of you all for having spent given your valuable time for the student community and for the parents and for all the ones who would like to know about the future of profession and education. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, Ila ma'am. Yeah, thank
We've
you
all
for organizing
benefited.
this.
Wish you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to the whole community because I have gotten a lot of support from all our community organizations and I wouldn't be here without them. And I think I'm just grateful for all those people. Like, yeah, I'm very truly grateful for all the support I've had so far.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And please remain connected.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.